Okay. If I look at the global market today for video surveillance, the biggest changes I see that we see the market dividing up. So we see that the way we look at it, we divide the market into three different parts. So enterprise, medium, and small businesses. And that is for us a clearer trend than we have seen before. And what does that mean? Why do we do this division? It's because there are different needs in these different markets. And coming together with that, if you want to listen more to the needs of the markets, you also need to have different solutions for the different types of businesses. So we're looking into it, we look into small, medium, and large systems. And when you look at those different parts, when we look into the small business parts, there we see a need for building more knowledges into the solution as such, because it needs to be simple to use and simple to install. If you look at more of the medium-sized businesses, here you see a mixer of more solutions together. You can compare it to if you would be a small business, you would go and buy ready food, junk food almost, to have a very easy solution. If you look from a medium business standpoint, it would be more of a solution where you had a selection. So a best of breed options between, in a restaurant for example, you could choose between the menu what you want. And if you then look into the enterprise, where you have a bigger need for integration with different solutions, where they want to be able to pick and choose, there it's like going into a supermarket and picking all the different ingredients that you want and put them together in a complete system. So that's one of the main development that I see on the market that's much clearer today than it was a couple of years ago. If I look into the coming year, as such, you will have different technology trends. We see some of them already. You can see everywhere we go today it's HD in terms of image quality, which I think is a very natural step. And also if you look at the video surveillance market today, it's actually growing quicker than before. And I believe one of the reasons behind that is that the quality of the image is so good today that the customers are happy with using it. So that's one thing that we're seeing happening. We are also focusing a lot of what we call user image usability. So in order to make really the image useful for security purposes. And that goes into treating difficult light conditions, like very low lighting conditions where we have our light finder technology, but also in situations where you have very difficult backlight situations. So what we call forensic captures, where the contrast in the picture is very good. So everything in order to make the image very useful for the security part. Another thing that we see from a business perspective is we see a lot more of cloud happening. So using video as a service, that's a very strong trend. And also the other part we see is on the analytics side, we've seen the use of analytics a lot in business analytics, and that trend is going to continue to be stronger. We also see an increased use in security applications where it's not mission critical, where it's still okay to have some kind of variation rates. So those are from a technology trend standpoint that I see what's happening on the market right now. Do you want me to speak about also from an Axis perspective? We did a change last year, beginning of the last year, we actually changed our vision. So our vision statement today is innovating for a smarter, safer world. And I think for us, it means a lot of different parts. Innovation, it's always been a core of Axis, and we invest every year 12 to 15% of our revenue goes into R&D and new development of products. So we have a very increased part in that side. And the way we do that, and that's where the smarter comes in, smart for us means to try to do things a little bit different, really fulfilling the needs of the customers. And the way we do that is by really listening to the customers. There is a word in Swedish called lyhörd, which means really understanding between the lines what the customers are saying. And with that, we want to be able to innovate for a safer world, which is also quite a strong statement that we want to contribute to that. So when you as a citizen is around in a city surveillance and a city environment, that you should feel safer by the city surveillance that is installed, for example. And for us, it's also because when I look into what we have done this year, we've also launched new products, which is out of our traditional video surveillance. So from a global scale, we have launched access control, It's not yet available on the Russian market. It will come, but we're introducing it into market by market. So we're taking a broader scope in which markets we're using today. So that's also a change. What I also see happening on the market is that we are present today in 45 countries around the world, but we want to have no white spots on the market. So we are increasing our presence in different markets around the world. So we have markets where we've been present for a long time, like Russia, for example. So we have quite a big office in Moscow, but we're looking in today is to make sure that we do activities all over Russia. So also in cities, not only in the big cities, but we will do some road shows around the country next year, for example. It's a very good question, and I've been working in this industry for almost 20 years. And for me, it's been, I would call it a journey for 20 years, because I've seen this convergence. So first the convergence between analog and IP, that's been happening over, it was first very slow and then it went a bit quicker. Today we have more than 50% IP penetration in the majority of the markets. And it's been going quicker in the markets where there were no installations from the beginning. So the highest convergence from that standpoint will be in the Middle East and the Nordic countries. But also some of the markets that were slower because they had a big installed base of CCTV are moving quickly today. UK is an example of that, for example. Then if you look in of IT and security working together, we actually saw that happening first on the end user side, because they need to work together in order to make it a total installation and make it work well. I believe that this is a very important role for system integrators, because there is still much more to do in the market. If they can facilitate the work for the end user in terms of having those departments working together, the installations and the solution will be working better. So I think that's a very important message. And then if I believe, again, coming back to what I said initially, there are differences if you are in an enterprise surroundings or if you're working with small businesses. In small businesses, I actually see the trend towards, in the IP side, the trends towards working more with the IT channel is going more rapidly than on the enterprise side. So there I see a convergence happening quicker. What I love about all of our IP, for me it's, first of all, it's a joy to come to Moscow. I only miss that the weather is perfect, there is no snow. That's the only thing which is a pity. But then I believe it's always good when you have, here it's an opportunity to meet everybody in the industry in quite a concentrated place. So for me, it's in one day, I can get the overview of meeting customers, meeting press, meeting potential partners, and meeting colleagues in the industry. So the fact that all of our IP is taking this, bringing everybody together to one melting point, I think it's a very good initiative. And I spoke to our people who are working at the booth, and they had a very good mixture of people they already know, so existing customers, and new partners and new customers they hadn't met before. And that's what you want when you go to a show. So that's what I love about all of our IP.